You know, sometimes some of us just never seem to be satisfied. Or always, I don't want to just think that whatever I'm using is okay. I like to know that. So I experiment. So one thing about a Fowler, a smooth bore, my goodness, it opens up the door to lots and lots of experiment if that's what you like to do. And I do. So I've been experimenting with round ball and shot, and I've been using primarily number 6 shot. And I know that number 6 shot, both in 1 ounce and 1 1/4 ounce, deliver very good patterns for me. The 1 ounce load with 80 grains of 3F Go X delivers really good patterns. And I did the bottle test on it, and it reliably, and I mean it breaks the bottle like crazy, to 25 yards. At 30 yards, it begins to get just a little bit iffy, but I think that's probably because of pattern density. So if I'm going to be knowing I'm going to be shooting somewhere around 30 yards, number 6 shot, I up it to 90 grains of 3F Go X and 1 1/4 ounces of the number 6 shot, and it will give me a good pattern, and it reliably breaks the bottle at those distances. But I want today to use 7.5, and probably might even get around to using 8. So 7.5 definitely is going to give you a denser, you would think, a denser pattern. But at what distance will it reliably break the bottles? I don't know. So today I'm going to find out what kind of patterns I've got with 7.5 and 8 with various powder charges. At least that's the plan. But I know I'm going to start with 1 ounce loads, a number 7.5 with 80 grains at 20 yards. I'll shoot 20, 25, and 30 yards for sure. So let's go over and get loaded up, get started with our test. 80 grains of 3F Go X. And I'm going to use a paper card and leather wads, but I'm going to cut a slight groove in the edge of them so that they will load easier and don't build up all that pressure. That little nick lets the air bypass. Which helps the situation. Do the same thing with the leather card. Then comes that wad of grease. Again, cut our little groove in it. Our 1 ounce number 7.5 shot. 1 ounce 7.5. Finally, thin card load. This is a load I call the 2XL. That means two leather wads sandwiched by water grease. Boy, it's got even with that little groove cut in it, it sure build up the pressure on it. And I'm using the same 3F to prime with. This is 1 ounce of number 7.5, 80 grains of 3F Go-Ex at 20 yards. $80 grains again of the 3F Go-Ex leather wad. This time I'm going with 1 1/4 ounces. And of course, it's another hot, blistering hot day. Hot and humid. As much as I enjoy shooting and experimenting, I don't really like doing it in all this heat. I tell you, cutting that little groove in these wads lets that air escape pretty good. Both in rifle and in this Fowler, it seems like the more lube that I use, the better my results are. This will be 1 ounce at 25 yards. One ounce load at 25 yards. goodness. It is hot. It is humid. And every once in a while, a little breeze. Well, it was blowing under this cover. Ow. It's the hot that, as much as I like to shoot and experiment, it takes a lot of the enjoyment out of it, I'll tell you that. When it's humid like it is, that black powder residue draws moisture like a sponge. You have to pretty much keep everything clean, wipe down. Don't be afraid of using too much grease. Glory. Okay. "25 yards. "25 yards, 1 1/4 ounce at number 7.5. With 80 grains of. All right, 80 grains, 1 1/4 ounce, 25 yards. From here, it looks pretty good. Gracious day. Definitely too hot for this chicken. I like cool weather. As I get older, I don't necessarily like cold weather that much, much as I used to anyway, but I certainly do prefer it to be cool. Just blistering hot where you melt and run down. I'm melting and run right down in my leggings. You need to wipe your flint off. You need to wipe your flint off because that fouling gets on it too. And your frizz. And for sure your pan. Go ahead and pick the vent hole. Okay. We're going to try 1 ounce at 30 yards. So let's get loaded up. 80 grains, 1 ounce, 7.5, 30 yards. That's probably going to be stretching it for this load. Pattern wise, I don't know about power wise. I'll have to check that out. Okay. Let's go look at it. There you go, it's hot. Whew. You have to make yourself keep doing this experimenting on a hot day like this. Every once in a while, a little breeze comes floating by. One 1/4 ounce shot. Burning up. Gracious. Okay. 80 grains, 3F GoX. 1 1/4 ounce, number 7.5. At 30 yards. We'll find out. Gonna be the last shot for today. And I'm gonna up the charge. I'm gonna up the charge to 90 grains. It's 90 grains. Two ounces shot. 1 ounce. Last shot. You didn't get it now, let's see. This is 90 grains 3F GoX. Two ounces, 7.5. Lord. Let's see what it'll do. I'll tell you one thing it do kick. It do kick. One thing that I probably wouldn't want to do is shoot those 90 to 100 grain loads with 2 ounces of shot all day. They belch in that jaw. Wouldn't take too many of those shots to get you sore. Been there, done that, know what I'm talking about. But just a shot now and then, not too bad. Like you would hunting, you know. But I mean, that's primarily a turkey load, so we'll see. If I get the dog to move, here we go. Dixie move. This is the Dixie 80 grains, 3F, 1 ounce load, 7.5 at 30 yards. Okay, in the center core, I got 77 in the 15-inch circle. In the outer ring, I got 93. That's the outer ring all the way around. All right. This is a cylinder bore, straight cylinder bore, 30 yards. So I got a total of 170 out of a possible 350. That's 48% is in a 26-inch circle. 1 ounce load now, cylinder bore at 20 yards, or 30 yards. I mean, that's not a great pattern, but it's it surely isn't bad for a cylinder bore. Now we go to the 1 1/4 ounce. This is 1 1/4 ounce, 30 yards. I only got 66 in the center core, not 77, even though instead of 350, I've got 438 pellets in it, and 43% instead of 48%. So I've got a total of 189 out of 438 for 1 1/4 grain load. But as you can see, that's not a fantastic pattern, but it's right impressive for a cylinder bore. But 189 out of 438, 43%. Dixie, move. Move. 1 ounce is 170 out of 350 for 48%. So now, in order to, one of the main things in order to get pattern density out of a Fowler with straight bore is to increase your payload. So here I'm going up to 90 grains, 2 ounce load at 30 yards. So with the 1 ounce, I've got 77 grains in the center core. With the 2 ounce, I've got 91 in the center core. With the 1 ounce load, I've got 93 in the outer ring. With the 2 ounce load, I've got 117. So, now look down here. So I've got a total of 208 out of 700. 208. 170. 170 out of 350. 208 out of 700. So, and it's percent-wise only 30%. Only 30% of my charge or my load is in a 26-inch circle. But with the 1 ounce load, I got 48%. So there's your 1 ounce and your 2 ounce. Well, yeah, you can see a difference. There are definitely more pellets in here, but it's not what you might think. 2 ounce, 1 ounce. Rather amazing. Well, you can hear that over the wash machine going. This is 80 grain, 3F GoX 1 1/4 ounce number 6 shot, 20 yards. All right, got 136 in the center core, 100 in the outer ring. That's 236 out of 250 for 94% of the pattern is in this 26-inch circle. Now, same load, except number 7.5 shot. And I've got, instead of 136, it's 162 in the center core. And then the number 6 shot, I got 100 in the outer ring. He got 156. But you started out with 438. So you got 318 out of 438 for 72%. As opposed to 236 out of 250 for 94%. So the number 6 shot carries more umph with it, each pellet. But the 7.5 is giving you a little bit denser pattern. So at 20 yards, either one would work just fine, I guess. But overall, and all the pattern that I've done, number 6 holds true. It shoots tighter, let's put it that way, than the 7.5. Okay, 80 grains, GoX 3F 1 1/4 ounce, 7.5 shot, the 2XL load, 25 yards. In the outer ring, 106. Center core 106, outer ring 154. That's a total of 260 out of 438, or 59%, are in the 26-inch circle. That's with the 1 1/4 ounce. The 1 ounce load, that's 1 ounce, 7.5, everything else been equal. I got 99 in the center core, as opposed to 106 with the 1 1/4 ounce. I have 121 in the outer ring as opposed to 154. With the 1 1/4, remember you got 260 out of 438, 59%. With the 1 ounce load, you got 220 out of 350 for 62%. So all the way around, everything that I've tested, regardless of the shot size, would it be 6.5, 7.5, or the powder 3F or 2F, the 1 ounce loads have been the more efficient. The more efficient. They give you a higher percentage, and particularly in the center core. They really do. And so take that for whatever it's worth, but these patterns with 7.5 are okay at 25 yards. I would not press it beyond 25 yards. I would say this would be your maximum distance. I did shoot that one at 30. It doesn't do worth a flip. Well, I shoot several patterns, diagram them, and average them. What are you want to know, or I want to know, what can I reasonably expect every load to do? I mean, from one shot to another, they vary a little bit, but you need to shoot several patterns and average them. Find out what your average is. What's your average performance? So what I've come up with so far, let me see if I can make any sense of this to you. So at 20 yards, let's compare number 7.5 performance and 80 grains of 3F to 1 ounce of number 6 2F, and see what kind of performance we're getting here. All right, so the 1 ounce load of 7.5, there's 818 in the center core, 136 in the outer ring. That gives you a total of 224 out of 350. That's 72%. That's number 7.5. You can look and see what kind of general consistency it's got in the quarters. 59, 40, 62, 93. It could probably be a little better than that. So let's drop down. Remember, 254 out of 350, 72%. So we drop down to the 1 ounce of number 6 with 2F. You get 140 in the center core as opposed to 118 in the 7.5. You got 140 in the center core, but you only got 52 in the outer ring as opposed to 136, meaning this is shooting a much tighter group. So you're getting 192 out of 200. Up here with the 7.5, you started out with 350 and you wound up with 254, 72%. The number 6 shot, you start out with 200, you get 192 out of them. That's 96%. That's 96%. That's pretty doggone impressive. Wind blowing me all over the place. 20 yards, 1 1/4 ounce, number 7.5, 80 grains of 3F, 162 in the center core, 156 in the outer ring, and by quadrant, 71, 100, 90, and 30. Total, started out with 438. I have in the target 318. That's 72%. Exact same thing as the 20, as 1 ounce load, percentage-wise. Now we drop down to the number 6 shot, 1 1/4 ounce. I've got 132. I can win 132 in the center core as opposed to 162 with the 7.5. And then the outer ring, you got 156, and the number 6, you got 95. Okay, but I only started out with 250, and I got 227 out of 250. That's 90%. 90% are here, and it's more consistent. 44, 45, 56, 71. Both with the 1 1/4 and the 1 ounce load. The number 6s are more consistent. 7.5, 72%. With 1 ounce load, 7.5, 72%. 1 1/4, 7.5, 72%. Number 6s, 1 ounce. Number 2F is 96%. So that's very good. So whether I'm shooting 1 ounce, whether I'm shooting 1 ounce, the number 6, or 1 1/4 ounce is the number 6. I've got, with the 1 ounce, I have 96%. With 1 1/4, 90%. Very consistent. Number 6 is very consistent. Now we're going to make a comparison. 1 ounce. No. 1 1/4 ounce. 1 1/4 ounce of number 6s with 2F powder, as opposed to 1 1/4 ounce number 6 with 3F powder. With 3F, you got a center core of 136. With 2F, you got 132. The outer ring, 95, and the outer ring, 100. Very, very similar. Look at your quadrants: 44, 45, 72, 78, and 44, 45, 56, 71. They're very, very similar. All right, with the 2F, you got 227 out of 250. That's 90%. With the 3F, you got 236 out of 250. That's 94%. So you got 90 and 94%. Whether you're using 2F or 3F, you're getting very good performance at 20 yards. Period. At 25 yards, with 1 1/4 ounce of 7.5 at 25 yards. Center ring 106, outer ring 154. That's a total of 260 out of 438, or 59%. 59%. This is 25 yards. That's with the 1 1/4 ounce. Drop down to 1 ounce, still at 25 yards. You got 99 as opposed to 106. You got 154 as opposed to 121. You have a total in the 1 1/4 ounce load of 260 out of 438, 59%. With the 1 ounce, you got 220 out of 350, 62%. Very, very close, percentage-wise, performance-wise. But that's about the limit that I would care to shoot number 7.5s at all. I mean, it's getting a little bit thin past that, as we'll see here. Going out to 30 yards. At 30 yards, 1 1/4 ounce, 1 1/4 ounce, 3F 7.5. Center rings is 66. Outer ring 123. That's 189 out of 438, which is 43%. Okay? This is 30 yards. So up the charge to 2 ounces and 90 grains of 3F, 7.5, you get 91 in the center quart instead of 66 with the 1 1/4. The outer ring, you got 117 with the 2 ounces, and with the 1 1/4 ounce, you got 123. Total, with the 2 ounce load, with 3F powder, you're getting 208 out of 700. That's only 30%. That's amazing. Now, why is that? Okay, a few thoughts. Now, I shot competitive shotgun for many, many years. I have analyzed hundreds and hundreds of these patterns. And with with regular shotguns, you've got an enormous array of possibilities of components, particularly powders, shot cups, and all that sort of thing. And everything from wad pressure that you put on the wad to how tight your crimp is. It's just a zillion combinations that you can use in regular shotgun. And you find certain trends. And a lot of that revolves around basically pressure. As a general rule, there's no such thing as hard and fast rule, but as a general rule, faster powders that create more pressure faster, that reach their pressure curve faster, the faster powders generally throw more open patterns. So if you're looking for skeet shooting or something like that where you want a big pattern quick, you want to use a fast burning powder to spread that charge. Conversely, if you want tight patterns, you want to use slower burning powders and lower pressure. Even to pressures like your crimp. If you're wanting a load to spread fast, you want to use a pretty fresh hull with a real tight crimp. That will open your shot curve. If you want to hold it tight, say for trap shooting, you want to use slower powders that reach their pressure curve a little slower. You want a slower burning powder and a looser crimp. You want to use a shell, a hull that's about wore out. It's got a real weak crimp because those lower pressures hold that shot group together. And I'm finding that this absolutely is holding true in my Fowler. In the two powders that I'm primarily going to use, be 3F and 2F. The cutoff point is 80 grains. Now, a lot of people today, I don't know, whatever the trend is to shooting all this low pressure, not low pressure, but low power loads, these light loads. I don't know where all that's coming from. It's not coming from tradition. In round ball, well, that's a different story. You want to use lots of heavy loads. Okay, most people consider heavy loads. But 80 grains is a normal trap and skeet load. That's a target load. In dram equivalent, that's a target load. Well, yeah, it'll work for small game and all that stuff, but it's not a heavy field load. It's a target load. It's a comfortable load. And then this lightweight Fowler, it's still got a little bit of belt to it. So 80 grains is the cutoff as far as pressure curve goes. Anything less than 80 grains in a patched round, if you're using a patched round ball, which in smoothbore, if you're going to use a patched round, if you're going to use these light charges, less than 80 grains, you pretty much have to use a patched round ball because they simply don't generate enough gases, period. We've discussed that before. So you get below 80 grains, you pretty much have to use a patch around that ball if you're going to get any kind of accuracy with these low charges. And if you're going to get good accuracy with a round ball, you need to use heavier charges with slower burning 2F, period. 100 grains up, okay? Now, what I'm finding in these, the testing that I'm doing with the shot 7.5 and 6s, same thing. 80 grains is about and I'm using 80 grains, primarily 80 grains. I will use some 80, some 90, and some 100 grain loads. But at 80 grains, basically I can use 3F or 2F and get basically the same results within 4 percentage points. Same results. Whether I'm using 3F or 2F, it really doesn't matter. I can use either one I want. But and I use those loads, that's 6.5 and 7s. And to me, 25 yards or 25 yard and less loads. So I can use 3F or 2F, 6s or 7.5s, either one that you really want to use, up to 25 yards. My preference being number 6s. Because this is true also. Number 6s are a bigger pellet, much bigger than 7.5. And when you go back to shooting any kind of projectile, a heavier bullet, a heavier pellet, a heavier arrow, a heavier anything tends to remain on course. Whichever way it's pointed, it tends to stay that way better. It's not drifted off by wind and air and everything else is bad. So your heavier projectiles tend to fly straighter or more toward the target you aimed them at. So on a smooth bore, you're aiming that cylinder bore down there, the number 6s fly truer than the 7.5s flying out and all over the place. That's typical. That's absolutely typical. So I prefer, all the way around, I will prefer number 6 shot over 7.5, unless maybe I was, say I'm going to go quail hunting or dove hunting, maybe then I might use 7.5. But other than that, I'll use the number 6 all the way around. And at 30 yards, I'm not going to use 7.5, that's for sure. And number 6s, I'm not going to use 3F powder. It opens my pattern up too much. So from 25 to 30 yards, and 30 yards is my maximum, no matter what, because beyond 30 yards, the pattern is just not good enough. Even though number 6 pellet retains enough energy to break that bottle, which is the test that I used with power-wise, will break that bottle beyond 30 yards. But there's just not enough pellets. That straight cylinder pretty much limits me. That's a 2-ounce load. Number 6 shot, 100 grains of 2F powder with that 2XL load that I use, that 2 leather wads with that wad of grease in it, gives me a plenty good enough turkey load at 30 yards. And if I was going to go shoot squirrels, then I would shoot my turkey loads at squirrels even at 30 yards. But for all practical purposes, my small game load will be my preference, number 6 shot, 80 grains, a number 6. Use number 7.5 if I want to, but primarily number 6 is up to 25 yards. And for turkeys at 30 yards and less, it'll be number 6s with 100 grains. So my findings are, just like in regular shotgun, faster burning powders, 3F, through wider patterns. Slower powders like 2F, through tighter patterns. But 80 grains is sort of limbo. They pretty much equal out right there. But if you're going to use less than 80 grains, I haven't experimented with that, and I'm probably not going to, because I have no reason to shoot a shotgun pellet with less than 80 grains. That's just not me. That's just not enough. So I probably will never test shot, 6.5, 7, or 6 and 7.5, or anything like that, less than 80 grains. 80 grains is cutoff. I hope you get something out of that. I have. I'm finding trends that I can easily live with. Number 6 shot, either 3 or 2F up to 25 yards. Beyond 25 yards, number 6 shot with 3 or 2F powder, 100 grains. Works just fine for me. I have not tried any bigger shot like 5s or 4s. I may get around to doing that one day, but even though a 5 and a number 5 and a number 4 carried more energy than a number 6, there's simply just not enough of them in there. And for that straight cylinder bore, I don't think you get a good enough pattern. So I'm going to settle with the number 6. It has adequate power and decent patterns. Okay? Talk soon.